watch and burn.
Oh my god. There is a trail here. Look at this. I hiked it all the way back here. And now... Oh, fuck, right to a cobweb. What is it with me and fucking spiders? Where am I? Oh, there it is. I was told there's a clearing. I'm in it. I found the clearing. So, tonight, I think I am going to discuss Joe Berlinger's, I believe, 2002 film. I hiked it all the way out to the middle of nowhere. I can hear people over there, too, so I'm not alone, which is kind of nice because I'm a little isolated out here. So that's why I figured it would be perfect to do The Book of Shadows, otherwise known as the Blair Witch 2. This movie is hated. I think everybody that has seen this movie pretty much hates this movie, except for me and like a handful of people that I've met. I love this movie. I mean, I know this movie's far from perfect, okay? And I know technically speaking, this movie's far from the best, but what I loved about it was The Secret of Ezrever. If you rewind and fast forward at certain times, you'll see things kind of happening, coming out of the woodwork in the back of the movie. If you use the special feature that is known as The Secret of Ezrever, I liked that about the physical release for this movie. I also liked how the one side of the disc was the movie and the other side was the soundtrack. So if you like Disposable Teens by Manson and you don't feel like buying Hollywood, which is kind of crazy because Hollywood is like his best record, but if you don't love Marilyn Manson, but you like Disposable Teens and you bought this movie, you got the soundtrack with it, so that's kind of fun. And I mean, yes, this is so typical. Whereas The Blair Witch was really unique and it gave birth to the whole found footage thing, for better or for worse. This is just sort of your traditional standard horror sequel. What I liked about it was how they made The Blair Witch just a movie in this movie, and the characters in this film at times will take to cutting up the movie, the first one at least. But other than that, it's just sort of standard horror trope after standard horror trope. And I mean, the characters are always kind of paint by numbers too. Like you got the couple who are writing the book, the chick's pregnant, the boyfriend, girlfriend are writing a book about Ellie Kedward. The girl is coming at it from she's a victim, the boyfriend's always coming at it from, she's a tyrant. And of course, like I said, the girlfriend's pregnant. And then you've got the goth girl. And then you've got the townie, who's the dude from Burn Notice. He's got a mental health history, and he's got a long history with local law. And then, oh, that's right, that was the other thing I liked, was Joe Berlinger decided to put a nod to Frederick Wiseman's incredibly controversial and really, really devastating, I believe, 1969 documentary. 67 or 69, I think, and that is Titicut Follies. And Titicut Follies was a documentary that took place, I believe, in an asylum for the criminally insane, where the majority of them were sex offenders. But the vast majority of the men in this facility were so far gone, mentally speaking, that they almost couldn't be held responsible for their actions because they were just so... Their IQs were so low and they were so damaged mentally and physically speaking that, of course, they'd do something horrible to somebody because it's like they couldn't really grasp the magnitude of their actions. And it just shows, Wiseman's documentary just shows the day-to-day horrors that these people have to live with and the neglect and how they're treated by the guards and how it's like, despite what they're in there for, they're treated like rats. And like I said, the majority of the men here aren't even sure where they are. And so the scene where the townie is being fed through the feeding tube, that scene is like shot for shot and angle for angle taken directly from Frederick Wiseman's documentary, Titicut Follies. I liked that too. I thought that added almost too much in the ways of like artistic integrity to this otherwise sort of disposable, sort of the last of the dying era of MTV type horror movie. Because yeah, this movie is dumb and the effects are cool, but that little girl walking backwards was kind of weak. And my favorite part about this movie was the end, was how the Blair Witch was fucking with them the whole time. The second that they showed up there, they were done. And they think that the boyfriend thinks his girlfriend's being possessed by the Blair Witch, and this whole time she's getting more and more evil and whatever else. But as it's revealed at the end of the film, when the cop plays it for everyone, that's not what happened. She was the victim, and they lynched her up and tossed her off a staircase, and they were like, fucking witch, as she hung. Keep in mind again, you know, she just lost the baby, so that really makes them look bad, like they killed a woman who was grieving a miscarriage. But that isn't what happened, and I thought that was a nice touch too. But yeah, this movie's far from perfect. So look, I am going to stop there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for, wow, almost 7 minutes while I discussed the much maligned second Blair Witch, known as The Book of Shadows. Like always, if you like this review or if you like this movie, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. Have a good night.